But first, Sergio Brodsky wears a number of hats. He's an internationally experienced brand and media strategist and also co-founder of Tick My Day, the first dedicated TikTok agency in Australia. He joins me now.
Hello, Trevor. How are you?
Hi, Sergio. Welcome to the show. Now, we're talking all about brand positivity today, and I'm pumped. What does it mean for a brand to be positive? And what does that look like? And what are the benefits in your eyes?
Okay. Right. So we need to go back a few steps, right, and understand what is a brand. A brand is a promise that is set to the market, to the target audiences of that brand. And once the promise is met, then the result is positive. This is the most important thing, more important than having positive wording, positive messages, but really matching the expectations that these brands will set in market. This is the most important thing. For example, BMW is the ultimate driving machine. And if I'm driving the vehicle and the expectation is not meeting that promise, then it's not going to be positive. Apple, for instance, is promising to humanize technology. And if they are doing that, it will have a very positive outcome. And happy people spend more money as well. So making your audiences, your consumers feel happier or feel more positive about your communications or about the overall experience of the brand is something that will help open up their wallets. And there is plenty of research, plenty of evidence to say that.
So keep your promises, number one. That's the first step.
That's absolutely the first step is number one. But then again, crafting positive stories is something that is quite important. Just look at the stock market, for instance. Positive stories are the biggest drivers of valuations. And when you have a negative story, even when it's detached from the actual business, if it's something more personal or reputational, it will have a negative impact on the business. So having a positive narrative is something that is super important.
Yeah. So what steps can businesses take to be more genuinely positive then in their communications? Is it, okay, we've got positive stories, but, we're living in a challenging times. There's a lot of negativity out there. Is it right for them just to be positive to overcompensate?
Look, I think context is everything. And the context that we're living right now is, well, as everyone has been saying, quite unprecedented. The fact that it's so negative is a great opportunity for brands to bring positivity. When you look at top rating shows on TV, for instance, and radio, those that are more positive with positive emotions are the ones that the most watched ones. So people want positivity. There's already enough negativity in this year all over the world. So opening new pockets of positivity is something that is going to be naturally compelling.
Pockets of positivity, I love it. Now, in terms of this whole area of brand positivity, there's a lot of research too, isn't it, that suggests that happier people, when people are happy, they're going to open their wallets a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, happy people. Yeah, there's plenty of research. When you're feeling positive, you're a lot more prone to spending, to increasing basket sizes, and there is more. In terms of positivity, when you have like a long-term consideration, like buying a vehicle or buying a property. Things like this, there are different ways to using positivity as opposed to immediate purchases like buying a coffee or things like that. So if you want to resonate on the long term, you give something that is positive and calm. If you want to stimulate people to buy something right here, right now, it needs to be excitingly positive.
Right. So have you got any? Let's bring this to life. Have you got any examples of brands that ooze positivity and are reaping the rewards accordingly?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there are plenty. I guess Disney began, with the whole idea of celebration and magic and positivity throughout, beyond, their resorts and amusement parks. They even created a whole city called Celebration. So what is not to say about that? And Disney is one of the most dominant brands over the last century, to be honest. Burger King, Marvel, this whole wave of superhero movies that have been taking over cinemas by storm, with these messages of positivity that, everyone can be their own hero in their own journey. Nike, for instance, just do it. If you have a body, you can be an athlete. Yeah. Apple, and of course, TikTok.
And we'll get into TikTok in a minute, but just still on the positivity line, what about if you're a smaller business and you're an entrepreneur and you're running a business now? I guess whether it's online or offline doesn't really matter. But what are the things, apart from keeping your promises and making sure that keeps people happy, that you're doing what you say you'll do as a business? What are some other things that a smaller brand without Disney's deep pockets could do to sort of just tap into this positive vein?
Yeah. Look, if marketing had commandments, knowing your audience would be the first one.
Yep.
And being in sync with your audience and understanding what is positive for them, what will resonate best with them, is the best way to go about it. And it's very easy. Just ask them, how do you feel today? How do you like your experience in our business? And try to find out who they are. Try to build a relationship, develop a relationship with your customers, offline, online. Every opportunity is an opportunity to better understand your audience, and then create a connection that is positive.
Surprise and delight.
Surprise and delight. Surprise and delight is something that is used throughout. Surprise is something that is very good in terms of attention. In our brains, we are always trying to predict the next 2-3 seconds ahead of us. So right now, when you're talking to me, you're clearly listening to me, but you're actually predicting what I'm going to be saying the next 2-3 seconds. Every time I surprise you, I capture your attention. If you keep predicting what I'm going to be saying, and I'm saying what you're predicting, you get bored, you disengage. And so keeping surprising your audiences is a way to keep them engaged.
Yeah, good tip there. So let's move into TikTok. Now, you see TikTok as being a positive medium for brands, as well as being a positive brand itself. What does best practice look like on TikTok? Who's doing it well currently?
Yeah, so I can say from Mini Electric, we launched their campaign in the Australian and New Zealand market, which was a fabulous launch for them, the first automotive brand on the platform in the region. And what they've done really well was adapting to the language of TikTok, language of positivity, this language of happiness, super bright, super dynamic. So to be there, you can't just, copy and paste your TVC or your YouTube or your online piece of content and just throw it there. You need to speak their language. That is the most important thing, to be quite honest. We had
a digital PR consultant on recently, Alex Leffley, and he said, you've got a TikTok on TikTok. And we put that up on social media, and people seem to resonate with that. But the message is the same as what you're saying, is basically you've got to treat the medium as the medium and just focus on that, not just carry necessarily your content from Facebook over to TikTok.
That's right. I mean, what we tell our clients is that our mission is to talk people where it ticks them. So what I said before about understanding your audience, it's really at the core. It is the most important thing, really. And another thing that helps with all that is people live in this lockdown. They're making their videos, and they're all homemade. They're all, making fun of themselves. It's really a very relaxing, humane expression. It's not like Instagram where you're trying to look more beautiful, or like Facebook that you're trying to project a certain image to different communities. It's a lot more genuine and removes many of the pressures that society has been putting all over us. And many experts have already linked that to feelings of anxiety and stress and depression. TikTok is very much the opposite, and that is a huge advantage.
A bit rough around the edges. Dare we say the authenticity word. Tell us, and let's delve a little bit more into TikTok then. How's it? I mean, we know that the growth trajectory of it is it's just going through the roof, particularly in the last number of months since COVID-19. Can you tell us a little bit more about it? Like who's on it? Because I think there's a few misnomers that it is just for young kids and stuff. What's some background on the platform itself? Who's on it? And if you've got any numbers, that'd be great as well. Whether it's Australia or overseas.
Yeah. So currently, TikTok has 6 million people in the platform in Australia, and the demographics are pretty spread across the board. Of course, the young demographics, they will be a bit more present there, but it's pretty spread. Those that are between the 15 to 35 really dominate the platform. What we know also is that the time spent on TikTok is greater than any other digital platform. People spend on average 66 minutes every day.
Wow.
And that happens throughout 14 sessions a day. So every time you go there, you spend more time, amounting to 60 to 66 minutes, which is way more than the other social media platforms that we know.
Is that
in terms of brands, several brands are jumping on the platform now. It's still young, and it's not as populated as other channels. But this gives you a huge opportunity as well, because with less competition, you're able to punch way above your weight.
Of course. And do you think this has been at the expense of Snapchat?
Look, I am not the one to say that one is at the expense of the other. I am not of the view that one channel should be competing against the other. Channels exist to complement one another. So as you mentioned before, it's all about using the platform for the purpose it was designed to perform, to deliver.
Yep.
So, and TikTok does that. TikTok invites creativity and makes it super easy.
Yeah.
With Snapchat, it wasn't quite the case. We live in this very participatory culture. So every time you can invite audiences to do things with you and not just see you as the external observer, it becomes a lot more effective.
Yeah, of course. And in terms of brands on TikTok, can you tell the viewers just let them in on some brands that maybe they should check out to say, well, what's best practice? Who should we be looking at just for some inspiration on who's attacking TikTok in a good way?
Yeah, look, definitely Million Electric is one. I would say that brands like, there are several fashion brands as well doing some really interesting work. Gucci has been on TikTok as well, doing some interesting campaigns. But you also have, brands not doing that great. I think that it's very easy to feel inspired about brands that are doing interesting things. But where we really learn is from the brands that are not doing quite well, the brands that have made some mistakes, and we can really learn from that. And I would like to share an example here, which was with Volkswagen. And they spotted a trend on TikTok, and they wanted to use that trend to produce a TV commercial. As it turned out, they misappropriated that cultural intervention in a really bad way. The trend was one where giant hands would come on the screen and puppeteer a person. And this TikTok creator, his name is Odd Danny, on TikTok, and he's great at that. He moves incredibly well, and he likes doing this trick. But then Volkswagen did that using the hands and puppeteering a black person. At the end of the ad, they basically flick that person from the ad. With a few other, negative things that came across. After a couple of days, I guess, they removed the ad from the platform. But this is a really interesting learning, because it's not only about, riding the wave of trends. It's about understanding the context, understanding your audience, and understanding culture as well.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. You've got to be careful no matter what platform you're on. You've got to be aware of all sorts of things today. So, Joe, where can people find you online?
You can find me on LinkedIn. I am very active there. You can find me on Twitter at BrandZar. I have also my website, Sérgio-Brodsky.com, and Tick My Day as well, tickmyday.com. You can find me everywhere online, and after the lockdowns, hopefully in a nice cafe in Melbourne.
Excellent. Thanks very much for your time, Sergio.
Thank you. Bye-bye.